In this video, I'm going to be giving you 10 things that you need to expect as you embark on a career in personal training. Hello, my name is Alexander Lyon. I've been a self-employed personal trainer in London for the last 10 years now. And on this channel, I try to give you as much of my experience and knowledge as I can so that you can also improve your business as well. If that sounds like a good plan to you, then hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. So, the first thing you need to understand is that you are going to be expected to wear many different hats. You need to be a marketer, you need to be a salesperson, you need to be a therapist, you need to be a personal trainer, you need to be a doctor, you need to be and do many different things and have many different kinds of skills in order to operate the full business. You may need to be a web designer, maybe a graphic designer. There's a lot of different things that you need to do aside from burpees and press-ups. The second thing to expect is that you're not going to make the money that you think you're going to make as quickly as you think you're going to make it. A lot of people get into personal training because they've heard of the hourly rates that personal trainers can attract, whether it's £50, £70, £100 an hour. That sounds unbelievable and blows your friends out the water in terms of what they earn. However, you must understand that you're not going to get that straight away. My first client, I charged £18 per session, 1-8. Now I charge between £80 and £100 per session. But in between that, I got way better at my job, way better at my job. And again, not just from a personal training perspective, but from a sales perspective, a marketing perspective, knowing my own KPIs perspective. I got better in every facet of the business, and that's what enabled me to now charge what I charge. But that won't come straight away. Number 3, there are going to be a lot of ups, but in the beginning especially, there are going to be a lot of downs, right? And you need to be ready for that. Now, when things are on the up, money's great, you can work wherever you want, you can work whenever you want, you can work whoever you want to work with, right? But what happens tomorrow if you lose 80% of your clients because there's a recession, or because there's a pandemic, or because you've tried to implement something in the business that your clients don't like, and as a result, they've found it easier just to, rather than having a confrontation with you, they're just gonna go work with someone else. All of these things can happen, and your reaction to these setbacks, because they will happen, your reaction is what's gonna define your career in the long term. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because there's 7 more things that you need to expect on the way. Number 4, if you do things well, you're gonna make a lot of friends, right? Some of my very best friends now were originally cold calls, right? They were just people I bought their phone number online, or I found their phone number in the gym database. I pitched them cold, right? And now some of them are my best mates, right? I go on holidays, like I go to Chelsea games with an old client of mine. Like it can be a dream in that way, right? So that's one of the best things about PT is you meet super interesting people and you can make a lot of really good friends. And those friends that you make are worth a lot more than the money they used to give you. Eventually they'll churn out as your client and you have to accept that. Don't take it personally when they want to train with someone else or maybe just want to try something new, but try and hold on to that friendship where possible. The next one is you're gonna have your heart broken, right? If you're anything like me and you wear your heart on your sleeve and you're an emotional person, then you're gonna have your heart broke, right? For example, let me give you an idea. There was a guy that I used to train for about 3 years, once, sometimes twice a week. I thought we were almost mates, right? And then I just never heard from him ever again. He was due to pay, and then I just never ever heard from him again, and that was it. And that's happened to me multiple times. You'll get ghosted, you'll get fired a lot, right? I like to really label it as being fired. Some people will say, oh no, I'm just moving location, or I just want to work with another trainer, or I'm just not sure PT is right for me anymore. As far as I'm concerned, I'm getting fired, right? It's not a negative thing, it's just a fact, right? And that can really affect you, you know, if you really care about that client's progress and maybe they're not doing what you said they were gonna do, or they're quitting on themselves. Like, it's hard to take sometimes. Like in the beginning of my career, I used to lie awake at night, wondering why this one specific client I couldn't help to lose weight. I just couldn't do it. You know, and that kind of thing can break your heart. It can really upset you, and it can eat away at your energy a lot. So you need to be prepared for that going in. The sixth one is that you are going to learn a lot about yourself throughout this process, especially if you go self-employed. And what I mean by that is you have to understand that 80% of personal trainers quit or are forced to quit in the first year in business, right? PT is way harder than people think it is. And you need to be ready for that. You don't want to be arrogant going in like I was. I thought I just put my uniform on, clients will flood to me because I'm good looking, I'm in great shape, and nobody cared at all, right? Nobody cared. So PT is way harder than you think it's gonna be, and you need to be ready for a challenge from day one. It takes guts, resilience, personality, emotional intelligence, people skills. It takes a lot to be a good trainer, and your anatomy and physiology qualification does not prepare you for any of that. In fact, I'm not sure the anatomy and physiology even accounts for 10% of the position as a personal trainer. Number 7, you're gonna learn a lot about human psychology. When you watch people train thousands and thousands of times, right? And you have them tell you about their problems, again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day, depending on how many sessions you're doing. They tell you about their lives. They tell you about not just things that are going wrong in their lives, but things that are going well as well, right? Or have gone well, or past stories, right? You're gonna learn a lot about psychology as a whole. You're gonna really, over 3, 4, 5, 6 years as a personal trainer, in my opinion, that's equivalent to a degree in psychology, because you're getting firsthand real life experience, getting a deep understanding of what makes people tick, what makes people not tick. And as a result, that's gonna stand you in good stead in other areas of your life when you're in relationships, whether it be romantic or friendships, or even familial relationships as well. Your improved understanding of psychology and how humans tick is going to stand you in good stead. And that's kind of something you have to take my word for. Over time, you'll start to understand what I mean. Number 8, you're gonna become more resilient than basically everybody else that you know. The truth is that most people take the very, very safe route of going into employment, right? Guaranteed paycheck. They know what they're getting. There's no real risk. There's no real jeopardy involved. The worst setback you can get, apart from being fired, is being made redundant or getting a warning at work. Like, nothing bad ever really happens, right? If you're a self-employed PT and you rely on that so you can go to the shop and buy food and eat, there's a lot more jeopardy, a lot more risk, a lot more responsibility, and a lot more pressure. The trade-off is the rewards are far higher as well, but the risk is also there. So you need to choose, first of all, which path you want to go down. But if you do go down the self-employed route, just know that number 1, you've got my respect, and number 2, it's super, super hard. But the trade-off is that you will become a resilient motherfucker, right? You will be tough as nails after years of doing that. And that can at times almost cause a little bit of friction with people because you start to look at them differently. You overcome challenges so much, and really difficult challenges and really scary challenges. And then you start to look at them and they start to fold over things that you wouldn't blink at, right? And over time, you see that more and more and more. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that this is gonna make you tough. This is gonna prepare you for life, do you know what I mean? So in that respect, for someone like me and my kind of personality, that's right up my street. If you're not ready for a scrap though, probably not the right job for you. Number 9, you're gonna get skills that transfer into any industry. And I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, I decided to take a little bit of a break from full-time PT. I would still do it on the weekends, but I wanted to go into the city of London. I wanted to work on a high-performance sales floor, and I wanted to see how good I was at sales, right? I went into recruitment. And the first thing that was very obvious was, given the fact that I was a newbie recruiter, how confident I was in speaking to executives all over Europe from lots of different countries, how natural I found that. And that wasn't because I got some crazy training in recruitment, it's because I've been practicing that in personal training for years prior. So my ability to communicate with people, my ability to speak with confidence, and my ability to get along with people from like different backgrounds as well it stood me in great stead, right? And it gave me a leg up on other people who are of my experience level in recruitment. And that transfers to any industry. You have to remember that the ability to talk to people and communicate is something that's waning in this generation because we're also glued to our phones. So the people that can communicate and the people that can speak well are becoming more and more valuable in the job marketplace. So you might not want to be a personal trainer forever. That's sweet. But one thing that PT will do, it might not give you like a qualification to go work in finance, but the soft skills that you gain really will give you a leg up on the competition when the time comes for you to go down a different path or choose something different. And that is not to turn your nose up. That is a huge thing that you get out of personal training, especially if you get to work in a multicultural place like I do in London. You'll learn a lot. And the 10th, final one, save the best till last. No one cares about your physique, right? In terms of your physique as a one-to-one personal trainer, it's not like it is online. I would argue that online you do need a bit more of something to kind of interrupt the noise online and get a bit of attention. In person, as long as you're in better shape than your clients and you're not overweight or anything like that, and you can perform the exercises well, ideally better than your clients. You want to be aspirational, but you don't want to have such a crazy physique that it's just completely unrelatable and intimidating, especially when 2/3 of the people that look for personal trainers are women, right? If you're some enormous guy, they'll probably shit themselves looking at you, right? So just calm down. Listen, if that's your passion and you want to get enormous and have this crazy physique, that is sweet, absolutely. But that shouldn't be your business development strategy. If that's something separate that you just do, great, but don't market yourself based on your physique, and also don't expect that anyone's going to care about your physique, because they don't. So that's 10 things to expect as a personal trainer. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe. There's a lot more content coming your way. And for now at least, have a good one.